Okay, so it's June 11th. We're here for Sheriff Honsal's media availability. Thanks for being with us. Is there anything that you wanted to say to right off the bat?
Thanks, Samantha, for having me. You know, part of the media availability is for me to come and answer questions from the media sources as a way of getting information out there. I appreciate, you know, the fact is that we're pushing information out constantly and trying to inform the public. That's our number one job here, is to make sure the public is aware of all that our government is doing to protect them, to answer their questions, and to inform them of the next stages moving forward. So I look forward to the opportunity to answer questions and get on with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, here's the first question. With places opening back up, has the Sheriff's Office seen an increase in calls for service? Are you seeing more crime, more traffic accidents, etc.?
Yeah. So as we see, I think anyone driving around the city of Eureka and other towns in the county, you see that there are more people out and about now. And so you take a vast difference a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and their commute times were nothing. Now there's actually a commute now in the morning, in the afternoon. So more people are out and about, more people are congregating. So our calls for service, you know, are picked up to about the same as what they were pre-COVID. You know, there is our officers are being more active out there, as well as people are calling, and there are things that are occurring that cause us to, you know, respond to different events throughout the county.
As the weather gets warmer and we get into the summer months, has your office had any problems with large gatherings or people congregating at our beaches, outdoor areas, etc.? And are you concerned about that moving forward?
You know, I think the biggest, you know, things that we've been dealing with are the protests, right? Those are people who are congregating and that kind of thing. So that is occurring all over the county in different areas, and so that's been our number one concern about that. We haven't seen huge gatherings as far as you know, anything other than the protests. There are people that are utilizing the beaches, the rivers, that are getting out, using our forest. So that's encouraged. We want people to get out and recreate and get out and explore our beautiful county. But as far as concerns go, beyond, you know, what already is there, I don't have any concerns.
So speaking on high school graduations, if a local high school is presenting a graduation ceremony as a religious service, are coronavirus health and safety rules enforced differently?
So as I think the governor explained, that churches are allowed to open, and there is no process for them to have to go through in order for us to certify churches and church services. We do have that ability for churches to do that, and churches can get certified, and we encourage them to do that, but they're not required to have that prior to opening their doors. So there can be, you know, religious graduations and religious services at graduations, and for us, you know, it's really just we want to encourage, for the safety of the people that are attending, that they do adhere to the guidelines, for the church service guidelines, for the health and safety of the students that are graduating, as well as the people that are participating with that event.
And how much coordination has there been between law enforcement and local high schools regarding graduation ceremonies or other events tailored to large groups of students?
So the coordination has been actually pretty good. So the city of Fortuna, McKinleyville, Arcata, you know, those high schools in those cities have been coordinating with us, and Fortuna had a great graduation ceremony, drive-up ceremony, and I know Arcata and McKinleyville are trying to model the same thing, and so that it is happening. And so the coordination through Dr. Frankovich and try and have a ceremony. I know the Eureka City Schools, or Eureka High School, is looking at sometime in July, maybe, to have an in-person ceremony. But there's schools that obviously want to honor their students, and teachers want to honor their students and the graduates. And so people are trying to be innovative and try to do that in a way that can honor, make their senior year special, and make the graduation ceremony special. So they are trying to work through some of these things, and we're happy to help them out with that.
Speaking on the face mask order, are there citations given out if someone's not wearing a mask, and are citations being enforced?
So right now, it's you know, we have not issued any citation for people not wearing a mask out in public. You know, it's mostly about education. We do have educational cards that we hand out to people that aren't wearing the masks. People have provided the sheriff's office, I know other law enforcement, masks to hand out to people if we find someone without a mask. And so we want to just, again, enforce this as an educational component about, you know, keeping others safe by wearing a mask. And I know that there are businesses that saying you cannot come in the store and shop if you're a customer if you're not wearing a mask. So that is happening out there, and we just ask people to be respectful and also understand too that there are people with ADA issues that can't wear masks. So we don't want people pointing fingers and saying you should be wearing a mask. You don't know the circumstances, the reason why they're not wearing a mask. But again, if you're concerned, please wear a mask. Please protect yourself that way, and that's the best advice we can give.
And knowing health orders give room for individuals with medical issues to not wear facial coverings. Anecdotally, anti-mask citizens are reportedly taking advantage of that loophole and claiming due to medical purposes they will not be wearing facial coverings. How do deputies navigate this sort of situation? Is there any sort of verification of the medical issue, or are these claims taken at their word?
Claims are taken at their word. I mean, that's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna dive deep into someone's disability, just like we wouldn't dive deep into whether or not someone has a disability for having a service dog. Same thing. What is this? If they claim they have a service dog, we're gonna allow them to do whatever they need to do with that service dog. So someone who's choosing not to mask because of a medical condition, they claim that's going to be good enough for us. We're not going to be intervening with that, asking them more questions about this. That's their prerogative, and so. And that's the reality of the area here, and the fact is that we're not going to be enforcing that on people that do have medical conditions.
And then finally, during a time when law enforcement is facing increased pressure from not only new procedures due to COVID, which can endanger the physical well-being of officers, but also a vigorous outcry against police procedures and violence from some officers, which must leave staff feeling their integrity is being attacked. How are you finding ways to ease the stress on your people at this time?
One is reassuring, okay, and reassuring that we do have a job to do, and that a vast majority of the citizens appreciate us. We want to share the cards that we're receiving. People are giving us cards, dropping off meals for us, and then also telling us that we're doing a fantastic job out there. Again, our law enforcement officers are dealing with people's worst days every day. That's their job. That's what 911 is steered towards. And so when they're going to an emergency call for service every day, dealing with those worst moments, they're doing it with integrity. They're doing it by the book, and so I'm proud of our deputy sheriffs. I'm proud of our law enforcement officers in the community, law enforcement chiefs. I think we want to prove to our own community and California and the United States that law enforcement officers are here to protect and are here to serve, and we can do it with distinction and integrity throughout.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.